everyone. Good day to you. How are you? My name is Ola Nkaremu. I'm your nurse coach, Ola. So today I just want to share this random, information with you. As you know, at Nurse Coach Ola, all I talk about is health career and your health information. So today I want to share with you. I received an invitation from the HSC for cervical screening program. So let me share what I received with you so you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I received this invitation. Yeah, can you see that? I received that invitation, from the HSC last year, actually, if you can see from the dates. It says that it is time, dear Ms. Aremo, it is time to make an appointment for your free HPV human papilloma virus. That's the cervical screening test. Okay, and it can make an appointment with any GP and so on and so forth. So I received this last year, as I was saying, but I had a plan, when you just start procrastinating due to busy schedule of work and all that. And lo and behold, early this year, I had a very difficult start of the year. I got here and all that. So, and I was diagnosed of ovarian cyst, and that was diagnosed not until after it has ruptured. So it was actually a very difficult period for me. I had to undergo surgery and all that. And now, as part of the treatment modalities, one of the questions I was asked was, have I had a cervical screening done? And I said no. So I've been encouraged, to do that. And I'm doing this video as another way of challenging myself to go ahead and book for the test, the screening. So, and this is just another way of, trying to encourage everyone, every woman there, to go for the screening. So they also attached there an information booklet, which I'm also going to be sharing with you, an important information about your free HPV cervical screening. All right, so the free HPV cervical screening tests, it's basically to check the health of your cervix. So to check the health of your cervix, the cervix is the opening of the womb, for those that know, from your vagina. Okay, it is not a test for cancer. It is a test that can help prevent cancer from developing. Cervical screening is one of the best ways to protect yourself from cervical cancer. So do not delay in doing the test every time one is due. So the HPV screening is a new way of cervical screening. That's what they call it. It's called HPV cervical screening, and it was introduced in Ireland in 2020. So this type of cervical screening has already been introduced in other parts of the world, like Australia, England, and Wales. So the cervical screening sample is first checked for human papilloma virus, which is a virus that can cause cervical cancer. So if HPV is found, the same test sample is checked to see if you have any abnormal precancerous cell changes in your cervix. So this way of screening is a better way of cervical screening. It prevents more cancer, and it means some people will have fewer tests. So if you had a smear test before, having a cervical screening test will feel the same. So the only changes you may notice are most people will be invited for screening less often. Most people aged 30 to 44 will now have a screening test every 5 years instead of every 3 years. And all eligible women and people with a cervix are screened up to age 65. So you get this done up to age 55 every 3 to 5 years, depending on, yourself. So again, I want to emphasize that the cervical screening test is not a test for cancer. It's not a test for cancer. It is a test to help prevent cancer from developing. Okay, so don't be so scared that, I don't want to do this because I don't want them to diagnose me of cancer or something, or I don't have cancer, so I don't have to do a cervical screening test. So that's not the point. The point is you do the test to prevent you from developing cancer, like a screening test. Like all screening programs, HPV screening is not perfect. So some people will still develop cervical cancer despite, the regular screening. It's just a very small percentage. So going for regular HPV cervical screening is one of the best way to protect yourself from cervical cancer. Again, like I said, I'm going to make my own booking now, and I'm going to get checked. Just a quick info. What is HPV? HPV is the name for a very common group of virus. So there are more than 100 types of HPV, and some types can cause cervical cancer. So you can get HPV from any kind of sexual or skin-to-skin contact of the genital area, not just penetrative sex. So most people will have HPV at some time in their lives. So your body immune system can clear it within 18 months. But for most people, the virus goes away on its own and does not cause any harm. But in some cases, the HPV virus can persist and cause changes in the body cells that cause cancer. That is why it is very important to attend cervical screening when it is due. Okay, again, like I said, I'm going to be booking my own appointment. I have to do that today. So let me show you quickly what cervical cancer. For those that know, cervical cancer is a cancer of the cervix, and it happens when the cells in the cervix become abnormal, usually because of a persistent HPV infection, and change slowly over time. So who should get cervical screening? Let's talk about this. Who should get? So women and people with the cervix between the ages of 25 and 65 should go for regular HPV screening, cervical screening when it is due. So if you have had an hysterectomy or you are not sure if you need HPV cervical screening, please contact your doctor, your GP or clinic to find out. It's very, very important to do this. So how do you arrange for a cervical screening? So like I said, I got an invitation from the HSA. That's because, from the database, it shows that I'm within that age range and I'm due for it. So automatically I get the invite. But for those that don't get the invite, if you're on a regular list, like I said, you'll be sent a letter of invitation, and you just have to make an appointment with your GP or a clinic that is registered with CervicalCheck. So if you or someone you care about maybe has a disability, so you might have to go through, the access at CervicalCheck.ie, or just make a free phone call. Whichever country you are, you can get checked. Just make sure you visit a healthcare facility beside you, and they're going to direct you appropriately. So you do not need to be on, any register or to receive a letter to have a test. So for those that don't receive a letter like I did, you can actually, make an appointment, call your GP or go to your clinic and make an appointment for the HPV cervical screening. So how often should I have cervical screening? So like I said, if you are aged between 25 and 65, you are eligible for this. So now let's break it down. If you are aged 25 to 29, you will usually have a cervical screening test every 3 years. So if you are aged 30 to 65, you will usually have the cervical screening done every 5 years. So women and people with a cervix age 25 to 29 are screened more often because they are more likely to have HPV. You want to know why? That's because they are more prone to having multiple sex or repeated sex or exposure, so to say. So some people will require screening more often. Will tell you if you do at the time, like, so that your physician or your doctor will be able to tell you if you require more tests depending on what they have found. So again, let's quickly talk about what are the benefits. I'm going to emphasize this again, the benefits of cervical screening. So regular HPV cervical screening saves lives. It can help find HPV because even before it's become an abnormal cell in your cervix, it can find abnormal cells changes before symptoms of cervical cancer develop. It can find abnormal cell changes when they are easier to treat. So, it doesn't get, to that very difficult situation that it cannot be managed. So it is very important that you get your cervix checked, okay? There are some limitations to this, maybe, what I call it now, some limitations to cervical screening as they have put together in the HSC booklet there. Cervical screening will not prevent all causes of cervical cancer. So, some people will still develop cervical cancer despite regular screening, and some abnormal cell changes may be missed. Screening will not find every abnormal cell changes, but there are, for every 1,000 people screened, research has shown that about 20 will have abnormal cervical cells. So you never can know. About 2 of every 20 will not have these abnormal cells found through screening and may still develop cancer. So there are still those chances, but look at it. About 18 of these 20, let's say if 20 people, I said about 18 of these 20, we have these abnormal cells found through screening. So, and once these are found, if any, it can be treated abnormally, okay? Now, another one you want to ask, what happens to my sample? So once the sample is taken from your service, by your head professional, of course, trained head professional, it's going to be taken to a lab. So in the lab, the sample will be tested to see if you have an HPV infection. So if HPV is found, 2 experts will examine your samples for cell changes. If they find any changes, you will need a follow-up test called a colposcopy. So I have a friend that actually, they found some cells initially and she had to go for the procedure. The procedure is called colposcopy. So, and that one just give a more detailed look at the cervix. And the second time she went for, everything was fine. Like there wasn't anything abnormal. So that's the way it is. So again, I want to encourage you, go have a cervical screening test, especially at this time that, the world is celebrating International Women's Day. This is a way to keep women alive. We want more women alive because we have so much to offer to the world. So in order to keep women alive, to stay alive, we don't want women dying from cancer. We don't want women dying from preventable diseases. So cervical screening test is just a way to do this. So happy International Women's Day anytime, any year. All right. So if you're a woman, like I said, between age 25 and 65, you haven't got tested like me, please book your appointment now. I'm going to book mine now. Have a nice day.
I'm feeling high.